we have technical difficulties. No. I just clicked on the link, and I just see a picture of your shirt, Gascon.
Well,
now, I had a bet that we butchered this, and I believe we have butchered the start of the first maiden voyage of Benny versus the Penny. Your thoughts, Gascon?
Well, I will say this. Even if we did butcher it, the whole thing is powered by Ecamm Live. So the nice thing, Ben, is no matter who's watching this broadcast, if they like it, or even if they don't like it, but for all video on demand, you can use Ecamm Live. It's powerful. So you got Zoom, you got Skype broadcasts, whatever it may be. People could chime in at any given time. You could click on the link. It actually soups up anything that you do for video production purposes. And of course, it powers this show. So that's the best part about it, Ben. So I would not bite the hand that feeds you. But like I said, it's football season, so who cares? I mean, this is not supposed to go.
No. I just want to point out, though, and we are. I understand now we are on the YouTube, which I just realized. I'm not usually on the YouTube. We have a live chat, so people can actually interact with the show, and they're booing you, Gascon. There are people actually booing you on the chat right now. The Maller Militia, as Pierre points out. All right. So this is marginal handicap. Now, I started this on the radio show. A long time ago. Was crazy. But we moved on from that. We did the podcast last year, the 5th Hour podcast. And then you knuckleheads, you know who you are. You're like, hey, I want more. And so we ended up deciding this is a test run. And what that means is if this blows, we'll not do it again. All right. So, but we think it'll be all right. And I think it looks decent. Oh, you're way too dressed up again. I'm looking at this photo. I don't like looking at myself, and I certainly don't want to look at you, Gascon, but we will be picking NFL games, giving marginal advice, and you can do what you want with it. You should not bet on every game unless I win, and I am not liable if you lose. What do they say in Vegas, Gascon? This is for entertainment purposes only?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. There you go. Paul points out, he says, it looks like I'm at a Starbucks. I don't know. I've never been to it. My wife likes Starbucks. Is this what Starbucks looks like back here? Is that?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's not too bad, though. I like it. It's very good. It's very sleek for 2020.
Yeah. All right. Now, Mike says, I wish we had Ben's overall record. Yeah. Yeah, I'm 0 for 1. I picked the damn Texans. That's my fault, Gascon, because I believed in Deshaun Watson, and he kicked me in the nuts with that gutless performance. 3 quarters, he was absolutely a disgrace. He was terrible. But that doesn't matter. I'm going to bounce back, and I don't care about that. That's just an appetizer. It's all about the main event. The money is won on Sunday. The the bulk of the money. And then if you lose on Sunday, you chase on Monday. Every gambler knows this, right? I mean, every degenerate knows that's how it works, right?
Yeah, I guess the only problem is we're not saved by college football season anymore, because you get Hawaii on Saturday night that could potentially give you some kind of comfort on Sunday morning. But we don't have that this year with the Mountain West not playing and the Pac-12 either. So this is all NFL. But at least we get 32 teams. It's not like college football where we're stuck with 3 conferences that want to man up, and of course a couple independents.
Yeah. Now Frank in LA says I will go 15-0 unless I don't. Frank, I'm not going 15-0, but I could see like 12-3. I'd take it 12-3. I'd be happy with that. So should we get to the game now? Is this where we're supposed to beg for sponsors? Because this is like a separate standalone animal, right? This is not. We have no corporate overlords on this YouTube video. This is just a hokey guy with a fake background right here. And you, Gascon, of course, you have your own fake background. Do people realize that you have your own fake background, that that's not really the Gascon mansion or whatever you live in over there?
I don't think so. I don't want to talk about it just yet. I don't have the luxury that you do typically with green screens and whatnot, or sponsored background.
I don't have a green. I have a banner when I do the radio show, but I can't use the banner because this is not a corporate situation. So cannot do it. Yeah. Pierre writes in. He says, "I hold on a second. We're getting real time. I like this real time feedback." Pierre says, "I can't wait for Doc Mike to be live at the Maller Mansion next week, helping the pennies stay hydrated." No, don't listen. I'll tell you what. I will move. All right, I will relocate. I will go. I'll move to Boston, and I'm not. That's not going to happen. If Doc Mike finds my address, even my wife said, no, no, we might have to weaponize if Doc finds our address there. I'm talking full arsenal, Gascon. I'm talking pepper spray, knife, gun, flamethrower, all of the above.
Well, I mean, the good thing is I can be bribed. So if someone needs the address of Ben Maller, needs the telephone number, I got the goods. I got the goods.
I did notice, Gascon. I'm looking at the photo. It does. You have like this. You kind of look. What's the guy on MSNBC that does the stocks? You know the guy.
Oh, is it Jim Cramer?
Yes, you look. You're doing a Jim Cramer look. You're doing a Jim Cramer. You've got your sleeves rolled up. You've got the tie.
Sleeves. I got my Denver Broncos tie on.
Yeah, you had that. I'm looking at an earlier photo here, so it's pretty crazy. All right, so are we ready to actually pick the games?
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, I got the ticker up, which is obviously giving us what we got for week number 1 outside of Houston and Kansas City. But yeah, can we get to the games as opposed to our
so
personal presentations?
Yeah, it's all about us. We've done about 8 minutes of bloviating. All right, so it's week 1 of the NFL. We all know that. That's why we're gathered here together for this very special maiden voyage, which might be the final voyage. But let's start with the early games. Now, Miami and New England, that is the first game that we're going to talk about. It's on CBS. Jim Nantz and his burnt toast with Tony Romo will have this game. Now, the Patriots opened up a 6.5-point favorite. They are currently favored by 6.5. The weather, pretty good conditions at Gillette Stadium on Sunday with no one in the crowd. There'll be a temperature of 72 degrees at kickoff, and the Dolphins and Patriots, a couple of AFC East rivals. So I'm going to take the Patriots in this game. I usually try to find a way to bet on the underdog, but I'm going to take the Patriots. Now, this is all about Cam Newton, number one, all right? Number one, this is all about Cam Newton. Cam Newton is the belle of the ball in this game, and so as he goes, the Patriot offense is going to go. Which Cam Newton are the Patriots going to get? This guy has had four surgeries in the past 6 years, and nobody was buying what he was selling in free agency, other than the Patriots. This is a marriage out of convenience because the Patriots lost Brady. They didn't apparently trust Stidham. I thought they were going to play Stidham. And so they had to go to Cam Newton, and now they're trying to guss this up and make it seem great and all this stuff. But the key question, does Cam Newton have his arm strength back? And he's never been the most accurate guy in the world, but if he has the arm strength back, my theory on this, I think it's kind of obvious that he's that dual threat quarterback. The Dolphins are not that great. They've improved a little bit. But I'm gonna take a shot that he plays well enough. The defense is a bit of a wild card. They're the number one defense. That was inflated the Patriots last year because they played some dog food teams like the Bills were not a great offensive team. The Jets, the Dolphins, just in the division. The other thing here, you've got, because of the mass exodus of the coronavirus, the Patriots have been downgraded, so there's some value. And the Miami Dolphins are starting Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, Fitzpatrick has, out of every 4 games, Gascon, he has one really good game, one so-so game, and then he has like 2 that usually suck. And they should be going with Tua Tagovailoa, but they're not. I'm long-winded here. But I just don't trust the Dolphins, and I love giving Bill Belichick extra time to prepare. And even with the Patriot downgrades, they're still better than the Dolphins, who are weak. So I'm going to take the Patriots here. Patriots 33, Dolphins 23, the final.
Ben, the penny.
Yes?
Oh, the penny's going with the Miami Dolphins in week number 1 against the Patsies.
We're on camera now, Gascon. You got to flip a penny. You didn't flip a penny.
I did have the penny. I have it down here. It's right underneath my mob tie, my mob suit that everyone's trying to call out. So, listen, I'm curious. Will you get anyone that actually watches this show that says something positive? We need to see someone, at least for like 5 minutes. Like,
all right, I'm looking. I love the fact that we have a chat. I didn't realize we were going to have a chat when I agreed to do this dopey
can't you
thing.
just say thank you then? Isn't that more appropriate? It's like,
Well, I'm all about the real-time feedback, Gascon. That's why I love the radio show more than the podcast, because the podcast, we do it, and we have Tony Bruno on there today. And, who knows whether people like it or not. Mike writes and says, Gascon would look good in a 1980s sitcom with two big purple suits over the white tie and shirt and tie. There you go.
That's good.
I think I butchered that. There you go. All right. Well, so let's move on now. The next game, Cleveland at Baltimore. By the way, Gascon, feel free to. I know it's all about the penny, but you can give your opinion also. It's not that anyone wants to hear your opinion, but just saying. All right. So Cleveland at Baltimore. It's on CBS. Iron Eagle and our old buddy Charles Davis. I used to have Charles on when I did the Blitz with Looney Tunes on Sunday. I love Charles. Charles is great.
Whatever.
He left Fox. What's that?
Whatever happened to that show, The Blitz?
Management hated it, and we lost the show. But we liked it. We thought the show was good.
Yeah.
But we did it for like 8 years, which is a long run. Charles Davis, he leaves Fox. Do you think how much more money do you think Charles Davis got to go to CBS?
I'm gonna guess it's not $900,000 a game like Tony Romo. I'm gonna say it's a little bit less than that. It's a pretty nice pay. I mean, he's the second team, right? He's the B team of the CBS broadcast.
Yeah, Charles is great. I think he's wonderful. So good for him.
Yeah, it's good.
And Iron Eagles kid's doing the Clipper game on radio. Who knew?
He's gonna have a lot of fun in the Western Conference Finals. We'll get Lakers and Clippers. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to it.
He'll have even more fun in the NBA Finals when the Clippers play in the NBA Finals. Can't wait. My nightmare after being a fledgling Boston talk show very briefly at WEI, my nightmare is Clippers Celtics in the NBA Finals. That'll be like deja vu when we had the Rams and the Patriots a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yikes. All right, we'll do it live. We're doing it live. Cleveland at Baltimore, as I said, the weather in this game, cloudy, 79 degrees at kickoff at M&T Bank Stadium, the house that Sports with Coleman built, our buddy Jerry Coleman. So the Ravens open an 8-point favorite. I have them at 7.5 right now, so they're 7.5-point favorites. Now, I'm going to take the Browns in this game. And that's not a popular pick by popular people. I realize I'm going a bit of the contrarian on this, but a couple of reasons why. First of all, the Browns, they were the darlings of everyone in the football establishment media last year. They obviously went in the tank. They sucked. And you could say Odell Beckham took a dump, but he might have liked that. No expectations this year. They got a new coach. I don't know Kevin Stefanski. I don't know much about him. I've read about him. He's the 7th coach. How bad are the Browns? This is the 7th head coach the Browns have had in the last 8 seasons. Now, I look at this as a sneaky good pick. The Browns last year actually beat the Ravens in one of those games. Anytime you get a touchdown, this is one of my principles as a degenerate gambler. Anytime you get a touchdown or more in a divisional game, I'm a big believer. You don't ask any questions. You take the points and you just move on. And so part of it is that. And also, listen, the Ravens should be really good. They should win this game. They have all the ingredients they had last season, and except Earl Thomas, who's gone. And they've got a rookie linebacker and an unproven safety, Deshaun Elliott, who's replacing Earl Thomas and all that. But the public is also all over the Ravens. They are pounding the Ravens is what they're doing here. It's over 70% of the money, last I checked, was on Baltimore. So I'm going to go against that. I think Cleveland will play well enough. Division rivals. They'll hang around, have the lead for a stretch. Ravens will come back. Lamar will do his thing. I'll take the Ravens to win, but the Browns to cover. Ravens 27 and the Browns 20.
All right. Ben, the penny has Cleveland Browns, 3rd easiest schedule in the National Football League, and I know Lamar Jackson made you eat a little crow last season, but I think they're right on this. They're going with the Cleveland Browns this time around.
Yeah. I want to point out, Gascon, that former Maller Militia producer, the great David Brickley. This guy, he's on the Maller tree. You always rip the Maller tree. This guy
That's
is
not true.
No, this guy's a gazillionaire. He does video content. I don't know if he wants me to say, I won't say where, but for some major television companies. This guy is big time. How about that? He's watching right now, Gascon, so don't fuck up.
Do we have
Are we allowed to curse? Well, I just cursed. Are we allowed to curse? I don't know.
I prefer that you don't, in case some of these guys have kids. But
oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Do we have anyone international on the feed? Because you got Terry that's in the UK. You got Darcy down under in New Zealand. Do we have anyone that's from overseas right now, or is it everyone here?
Hold on a second. Now, this guy Chris has a good idea. He says we need an oversized penny with its own camera. We've got Gascon next week. Let's make this a 3-man box. How about a 3-man box? Right. And we'll have the penny have its own box. Robert points out, Robert's upset. Gascon didn't even flip a coin. What's up with that?
It's below the microphone. It's down here near the computer. I'd prefer not to show all the goods. I know you probably want to see that, but please, it's a G-rated show, at least for the time being. So let's move along.
Jimmy from Vols fan Jimmy says, take the overnight show live. No, I don't think management wants this live.
Chris says, this is boring. Let's play food picks.
Yeah.
That's right up my alley. I don't know if have you eaten today?
No, I have not eaten since, what is it, Friday? I have not eaten since Wednesday. I got to do this podcast for 2 more hours because I'm really hungry. And if I go 2 more hours, last time I ate was at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, so West Coast time. So if I make it 2 more hours, that's a full 48 hours. And then the feast will begin. No. The Festivus, the Feastus will begin this weekend, and I'll actually eat like a human being.
All right.
So
I'm excited for you. What do we want to do next?
I just want to point out, we've been on for about 20 minutes. We've done 2 games. At this pace, this thing's going to be 7 hours, Gascon.
This is what happens. This is what happens if you had Charles Barkley in charge as opposed to Ernie Johnson. You just have the color guy that just takes everything off the rails. So with that being said, let's flip the gear real quick. Let's go. We got Vegas, right? We got Vegas. We got the Raiders and the Panthers. Yes.
Yes. Is that the next game? Wait, no. I thought we have the Jets and Buffalo. We haven't done that game, right? Have we done that game?
That one? No,
yeah, let's do that game. We'll do that game. Right. See, you're even out of order, Gascon. I knew this was going to be a cluster bomb. How dare you? All right. The Jets at Buffalo. It's on CBS. Andrew Catalon and James Lofton. How about Lofton? Lofton's been doing these games he played with the Packers and the Raiders back in the 80s and the early 90s. Yep. He's been doing these games for probably almost 30 years now on radio and television.
Yeah, he's like your buddy Dick Stockton, who's timeless, right? Like CBS, Fox.
Don't bring that up, man. My man Stockton, the curse of the Bambino, he's not doing games, right? He's out. I think Dick's out.
Well,
that sounded bad, but yeah.
I can't mark that tape, but they changed things around a little bit. So yeah.
Well, we hope maybe they'll throw him a bone later. Yeah, maybe they'll throw him a bone there. Mike says, "What Kirkland brand item will you be eating today?"
Pizza, preferably, right?
I have not been to Costco as much since they got rid of the samples. All right, Jets in Buffalo again. Bills 6.5-point favorites right now. They open at 5. This game is going to be played with rain showers because it's Buffalo. So you got to have rain or snow in Buffalo. Rain showers, 72 degrees at kickoff. You know what they're calling the stadium in Buffalo now? Bills Stadium. They lost their corporate sponsorship. I guess the New Era people or whatever it was called, they bailed out. So, yeah. So it's Bills Stadium, which is as good as the Washington football team or whatever. All right, so I'm going to take the Jets in this game. Buffalo, they are the trendy pick by trendy people. And last time, check this out. Last time the Bills won the AFC East, Bill Clinton was the president of the United States in 1995.
Oh, boy.
And I think that was before the Monica Lewinsky scandal, one of the great political scandals of our time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I simply don't trust Josh Allen. I don't. I'm sorry, Robbie, the Josh Allen fan and all that. I will be curious to see if he improves much. Now, Allen finished dead last in completion percentage, 58.8. Among all the 32 qualified quarterbacks, nobody was worse than him. Now, listen, that number can be phony sometimes. We all know quarterbacks that do that little dink and dunk stuff and they fatten up the number. It's not a real number. You do have to take chances. But you can't take chances all the time And that's the problem. And I can't get off the fact that Josh Allen in that playoff game against Houston last year, the Bills had the game. And he single-handedly cost Buffalo a playoff win against Houston, and with the mistakes late and in the overtime. And so Buffalo should have, could have, would have won that game. They didn't. Now, I realize the Bills added to their offense. They have Stephon Diggs, who is a pretty good player from the Vikings. But, Gascon, it doesn't matter if the passes are sailing. If the passes are up here, you can see they're real high because I'm in my rustic office. But if they're way up there, then you can't catch them. So, and then the other thing, the Jets are obviously not a good team, and I don't think the Jets are going to be very good here. They have 4 new starters. I read on the offensive line. They've already had injuries at the receiving position, and so they've got a hodgepodge roster, but their offense and the Bills' offense very similar. The Bills were 30th. The Jets were 31st points per game last year. They played twice. Both games were nail-biters. Both games came down to the very end. Hard-fought, low-scoring games. I expect that to happen here again. And so this is one of those games where it's almost a touchdown. It's not quite at the threshold of a touchdown in a divisional game. The other thing is almost everybody is betting on Buffalo. Yeah. And I don't want to be with the public. I don't want to be with the lemmings in the public. So I'm going to take the Jets to cover. I'll take the Bills to win. Bills 17, Jets 13. I'll cash in my ticket with Gang Green.
And the pennies got the New York Jets. Ben, the last time the Jets were relevant, 2015, their starting quarterback, do you remember who that was?
Was that Mark Sanchez?
No, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was the last time
what?
they had a winning team.
They didn't make the playoffs, though. The last play was Sanchez was the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm saying like a winning record. I mean, you're talking about just a game over 500. That was the last time. But, I mean, to your point, they were god-awful last season, 31st in total offense. Now, the flip side, I do like Buffalo for 2 reasons. Getting Diggs helps. Now, I don't know if Josh Allen's going to overthrow him by 30 yards like he's done with everybody else. But you got him, you got Singletary, and then you get Zach Moss from Utah. Like, I think those are good acquisitions on the offensive side because they frankly ran out of offensive firepower in that game against Houston, which I think you took anyway. And somehow, like when we did Benny versus the Penny last year, you try to go with an alternative line, which I'll make sure that's not going to happen this season.
Hold on a second. Wait, hold on a second. Are you talking about the playoff game last year?
Yes.
I was reading the chat, which is more interesting than you. I was reading what the people were saying in the chat, but no. I won the bet with Buffalo. I took Buffalo in the points, and they. I remember cashing in on that game, so I actually won on that game, Gascon. So they should have won the game outright. I've had problems with Buffalo over the years. The most famous loss, the Music City fraud, when Frank Wycheck threw a forward pass, which is illegal, to Kevin Dyson, and they didn't call it, and it's bull crap is what it is.
Sorry for
how about
loss.
this? Pierre writes in and says, hey, the chat can replace Gascon as the co-host.
Yeah,
he wants the chat. Robert's shaking me down. He says, you better take Arizona. He's threatening me, Gascon.
That's good.
These idiots are threatening me.
He knows what's up this year with Kyler Murray. Like, you trashed him all season long in 2019.
He wasn't good. He was not good last year.
He was the NFL Rookie of the Year last year, so he was pretty good.
That's a popularity contest. That's a popularity contest, Gascon.
Well, you don't become popular unless you're relevant and good, and that's exactly what Kyler Murray was last season.
You look all disheveled, but why don't you tighten the tie and button the top button? Come on.
There's a problem with my neck. It's too big. I can't tighten the tie or button the top button. So.
What a West of the 405 narcissist. What a West of the 405 narcissist.
Listen, we can't have the chat actually be the lead on this because unlike the chat or who was ever in there, like I got all my teeth. It's a little bit different with the malnutrition. So, anyways.
Mike writes in, he says, Gascon looks like he sells penny stocks in a boiler room.
Man, that would be awesome. Hey, listen, someone hit us up a couple days ago with after the fact that you mentioned to sell Tesla and Apple. So that was good that you had mentioned that last week because both stocks had taken huge dives. I think Tesla dropped 21% over the last couple of days, and so.
Yeah. I have a financial guy who knows what he's doing, and he said, "Listen, once it's like the bubble bursting, and it is smart. You buy before the split." Are we giving marginal stock advice now? I thought this was Benny versus the penny.
You said it was a marginal show, so we'll just be marginal throughout, right?
I don't want high expectations because much like in sports, I think the high expectations are the death of this. All right, Falcon right in says show some decorum. He wants us to show some decorum. I don't know what that means. I have no idea.
Well, we haven't asked yet, or at least I have.
Well, I did. I said the F word. Are you going to edit that out of the rebroadcast, Gascon? Are you going to take that?
I'm already doing enough work as it is. Like people, I'm surprised. Like I haven't gotten one note about how great I did on the graphics, which I did. I haven't gotten any kind of compliments on the lower thirds, which I've customized for you, as you can see on the bottom of that. The logo at the top.
You're really chopping wood over there, Gascon.
I am. This is manual labor for Ben Malice. Is exactly what I'm doing. Anyways, let's push on.
Let's get back to it. All right. Next up, the Las Vegas Raiders playing their first game as the Las Vegas Raiders at the Carolina Panthers. It's on CBS. Greg Gumbel and Rich Gannon, the Raider MVP. I heard some great stories about Rich Gannon from our colleague on the radio, the great Lincoln Kennedy, who was his star offensive lineman. And so Gannon's there calling the game with Gumbel. The game opened to pick 'em. The Raiders are a 3-point favorite on the road at Bank of America Stadium. Light rain, 83 degrees at kickoff, as the Raiders are playing their first game representing Las Vegas. They'll be home against the Saints next weekend with no fans in attendance as they unveil this new massive stadium, the Death Star, in Vegas. But this game, a road game, I'm going to take the Raiders here. I don't generally like road favorites. That is a recipe to not win a lot of money, but this is more of a bet against Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater takes over for the Panthers. They have a new coach, Matt Rule, the old Baylor coach, who replaces Ron Rivera. And across the board, Carolina's got not only a new head coach, they've got the new offensive coordinator, they've got a new defensive coordinator, as we mentioned, a new starting quarterback. They still have Christian McCaffrey, which scares me somewhat, a lethal weapon. And McCaffrey's good enough to keep Carolina around and cover that number. But there's a bunch of lightweights here on this team. And the Raiders, to me, are the same type of team that's in that 8, 9, 10 win. If things go well, they can win 10 games, but they're right in that area. I mean, most NFL teams are like this. So they've got Derek Carr, who's I'm not a big fan of. Marcus Mariota's hurt to start the year. And I like the Raider backfield, though. I would think this is a spot the Raiders don't have to lean on Derek Carr. You've got Josh Jacobs, who's a bull in the backfield. They added Theo Riddick. So that's a pretty good backfield for the Raiders. And I would think Jacobs is going to run wild. Carolina last year, as you know, Gascon, had the worst run defense in the NFL. They were dead last at stopping the run. And now the one good defensive player they had, the great Luke Kuechly, who retired, he quit at the end of last season, didn't want to play anymore. So they're without him. So I'm taking a bit of a risk on this, only from the standpoint you're talking about a road favorite. And also Vegas has an issue with John Gruden. If you look at John Gruden, he has a time zone problem, Gascon. Gruden he's played 6 games in the Eastern time zone as coach of the Raiders, and his record is in those early 1 o'clock Eastern games, with the body clock's all messed up if you're from the West Coast. 1 in 5 is John Gruden's record against the spread in that situation. So I'm hoping that this will debunk that. I'm going to take the Raiders to win this game by a touchdown. Raiders 24 and Carolina 17.
All right.
Penny picks. Let's see the penny.
Got the Carolina Panthers, Ben.
Do we have the penny? Where's the penny?
No. We can't look behind the curtains. We're not going behind the curtains. That's exactly what we're not doing.
Well, it's not behind the curtains. It's behind the fake backdrop, with cheesy backdrop we have here. That's what it's about. But, we should get the ostrich who lives in Washington, D.C., famous on Twitter. Great militiaman. This guy's been with me for 18 years, Gascon.
And he's still alive.
Wow.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you have the.
His daughter was like 7 years old when he started listening. Now she's 25. How about that? She's a grown-ass woman.
Was she the one that you mentioned the other day that he called you, or he called the show when he was?
Oh no, that's the guy in Phoenix. Yeah, the guy in Phoenix is. Yeah. These people make me feel old, man. These damn kids, man. They just keep aging.
Well,
the hell?
It's a little combination because you got that, and then you got the gray over that brown beard. So it's like very layered.
What's wrong with that, man? That gives me the perception of intelligence. I've got
wisdom.
I don't need these glasses, right? I don't need look at that. I don't need them. No. These are see that? These right here, you see that? That's because I look smarter. All right? People with glasses look smarter. I don't need glasses. I'm a young guy. I'm not even 30 yet. Look at me. No.
You're not aging well if you're 30.
Yeah.
At least you're not.
Well, you don't look good with your wardrobe there. All right. Anyway,
you don't like my beard. You don't like the attire. You don't like everything that's been set up.
It's too west of the 405. I'm keeping it real, man. I got the shirt. I got the hat. Look at that. That's a great hat, by the way. You see that?
That's pretty good. Who gave that to you?
That is a listener who worked for the Birmingham Iron of the AAFL or something like that, the American that Fugazi football league that started before the XFL did.
It's good.
And I liked it, but the league didn't make it. They went belly up because of the pandemic and all that. But the guy, he worked for the team, and he sent me he sent all of us on the radio show a bunch of hats and stuff. It was pretty cool.
One of our colleagues, Rich Ornberger, who was working for the Alliance of American Football, I think he went like 6 or 7 weeks without getting paid. They didn't pay him a dime. He was a color commentator on radio, and they didn't work out anything. So at least you got a hat out of it. I don't even know if Rich got anything, let alone a hat. So
yeah, I came out ahead on that. This guy writes in, says Pierre says Gascon appears to be looking for the eject button. Does he have an appointment somewhere? Yeah, Gascon, do you have plans?
I did have plans earlier, but you and I discussed that. So now I'm free to hang out with you the rest of the day. At least you're the one that's usually pressed for time on Fridays anyway.
Well, this is my Friday, my day off here. I'm not getting paid for this. This is free. This is free content, Gascon. My time is valuable. We need some damn sponsors on this thing.
Well, are you gonna ask some of the listeners or the viewers to kick down or what?
Well, yeah, I'll endorse as I've proven anything pretty much. Yeah. Contact. How can they contact you, Gascon, if they want to?
Well, we left the description on the.
Okay. It's on the description
on the YouTube channel, so you can always hit up Ben or myself. Twitter's accessible. Our Twitter handles are down there, so the direct messages are available as well. So, Ben, what do we got? We got Atlanta on deck, right? We got Atlanta and Seattle.
Yes, that is correct. Seattle and Atlanta. It's on Fox. You better watch.
And it's on the Fox Sports Go app because we've been talking about ratings over the last couple of days, right? With ratings dipping on television, but they've skyrocketed on the digital platform. So I don't know. There's like this love-hate thing with the media right now, talking about how ratings have dipped because of what's going on, like the social unrest. But then on the other side, there's a counter argument that television viewership is down, but digital viewership is skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So
the problem is the infrastructure of television is based on actual linear viewing, right?
Yes.
It's not on internet. The internet. It's very weird how the internet's set up. Like even on the podcast, we have to have different commercials. They can't have the same commercials. It's messed up. But Adam, you get me distracted, man. This is your fault, Gascon. The reason we've been doing this for almost 40 minutes here. And we haven't even gotten through the early games.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
But Adam Amin, is that his name?
Adam Amin.
Adam Amin?
Yeah.
And
Adam Amin used to be with ESPN. Now he's with Fox.
Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth have the call. And this game being played in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The Seahawks opened a 1.5-point favorite. They're favored by 2.5. Now, outside the dome, it'll be 78 degrees and raining in Atlanta, but I don't believe any fans are going to be at the game, so it doesn't matter. The pick is in, and I am going to take the Seattle Seahawks as another road favorite. This is not good. Back-to-back road favorites. The Seahawks are counting on Jamal Adams, being the finishing touch on that defense. Now, Seattle did not finish the year that great last season. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, which I don't think is that huge a loss. Clowney took some plays off and all that. Seattle, the concern here is yet again about the offensive and the defensive line. And they continue to have issues there. Now, that said, Atlanta, you would think that Russell Wilson, it's going to be target practice, and he'll be throwing lasers everywhere because Atlanta has one of the worst secondaries in the modern NFL. So you got to, if you're the Seahawks on offense, the problem is they like to run the ball. They don't like to throw it that much, but this is a lick your chop situation. And Pete Carroll, we mentioned earlier that John Gruden, not that great West Coast games or East Coast games coming from the West Coast with the Raiders. Well, Pete Carroll, he's done pretty well in this spot. If you look at it, he's 11-6. That's a almost 650 winning percentage against the number 1 p.m. East Coast games as coach in the Pacific Northwest with the Seahawks. However, though, how about that? The last 5 years for Seattle, week 1, they are 0-4-1 against the spread. So they have not covered a game in week 1 in the last 5 years. Now, there's 2 ways to look at that. There's one way to look at it and say, well, that's going to continue. The other way to look at it is to say, well, that's bull crap and that they are going to be fine and they're going to be able to that doesn't mean anything. What happened 5 years ago has no bearing on what's happening now. So I'm going to take Seattle. Atlanta picked up Todd Gurley and Dante Fowler, a couple of former Rams. And that doesn't really move the needle. I yawn. I loved Gurley back in the day, but he's damaged goods. And Dante Fowler's another one of these guys that he's much like Jadeveon Clowney. He doesn't play hard on every play. He makes a lot of mistakes as far as penalties are concerned. He'll make some impact plays. That's certainly true. He can make some impact plays in this game, but clear your nose there, Gascon. I'm not that impressed. The Falcons were Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Remember last year they were 1-7, and Dan Quinn was hanging on by his fingernails, and then they went 6-2. Atlanta did down the stretch. Now, I like generally home dogs, even bad teams, but I will again, as I said, go against the rule here. I'm going to take Seattle. I think they win comfortably. Seahawks 31 and the Falcons 20.
Oh, Penny is going with the Atlanta Falcons on this one. Momentum from 2019 carrying over into this season. I know you hate that, Ben, but they are playing the league's toughest schedule this season. Could be a huge year for them, at least in the NFC South, with Tom Brady coming in that division. So we'll see.
All right, so the people are chatting here, Gascon, and the peanut gallery, which the real-time peanut gallery, and some people enjoying this, other people not so much.
Someone asked if this was the Dick Stockton game. It's a low blow, but.
That is bad. How are we gonna? We have to change that. What is the worst game of the week going to be now? We'll have to mess around that. So Michael writes in. He says, "Have you purchased your Halloween pumpkin yet?" No. And I've been trying to push back. My wife loves Halloween. I think it's her favorite holiday, and she wants to decorate. Like we're going to go out and buy a bunch of spider webs and all this shit. And
why would you do that with Halloween canceled here in Los Angeles?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. But she goes all in. Robert says, Ben, last year I took 6 of the teams you took, and I hit a parlay, 6 of them. How about that? You see that?
That's
you hit
good.
A 6-team parlay.
That's good.
All right, so that means I can lose this year, and you made your money. You're still ahead. All right, next up for us, we have Philadelphia at Washington. It is on Fox. We're not on Fox right now, so I guess you can watch or you don't have to watch, but I'll be watching. Kevin Burkhardt and Daryl Johnston. The Moose calls this game, the old Cowboy. Eagles opened up a 6-point favorite. They are favored by 5.5 points here in this game. It'll be cloudy, 77 degrees at kickoff at FedEx Field. And I'm going to take the team formerly known as the Redskins in this game. Now, the Eagles... The key weak link for Philadelphia continues to be the secondary. They tried in the offseason to pick up some help, Darius Slay, and they picked up also Nickel Roby Coleman as well. I'm not impressed with that. Philadelphia figures to get shredded again as they try to stop the pass, but likely not a problem in this game because we're talking about a white-hot tire fire, which is the Washington Football Club. And you've got Carson Wentz, who should be able to slice up that poor Redskins secondary. Doug Peterson, we talked about some of these other coaches that have not done that well in season openers. Doug Peterson, 4-0 in Philly in the season opener, including last season. Remember, last year, Philadelphia fell behind. They played the Washington team last year, fell behind 17-0, and they came back and won. But I don't believe they covered the spread in that game. Now, Washington is starting a running back named J.D. McKissick, who's from one of the schools in Arkansas. We have a lot of listeners who love this guy because you guys, Sir Scratch-Off and some of you other knuckleheads have been sending me like propaganda that this J.D. McKissick is like the new Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. This guy's going to light the world on fire. Hey, I hope he plays well. He's going to have to because Dwayne Haskins, I have no confidence. People are saying he's going to have a second-year jump. He lost 20 pounds. He was on a Gascon, west of the 405 diet last year. Again, I'm a show-me kind of guy. It's like I live in the state of Missouri. I'm in a show-me state of mind here. You got to show me that you're good. Don't tell me you're good. You got to show me. And, hey, I'll give Ron Rivera credit. This guy, you talk about grit. This guy's battling cancer, and he's planning on coaching. That is some major balls by Ron Rivera. And he's trying to make the Redskins, I keep calling them the Redskins, the Washington football team. He's trying to make them, a gritty, tough team that will punch back. They have no expectations. I expect this to be an ugly afternoon of football in Landover, Maryland. Philadelphia's getting most of the money, but I don't trust Carson Wentz. I don't trust the Eagles secondary. So I'm going to take the Eagles to win, but Washington to cover. Eagles 24, the Washington Football Club 20. And the Penny picks.
Penny's going with the Eagles in this one. They got blown. Washington got blown out, Ben. Last year, 9 games by 10-plus points. I mean, we should take side bets. Who gets hurt first? Carson Wentz, Dwayne Haskins, and also when does Alex Smith return to the gridiron? Because he's on the active roster. So do you think he even plays a snap?
I don't think he plays. Well, here's the thing. And actually one of the guys in the Peanut Gallery, Robert, says, which week do you think that Washington will make the quarterback switch? I want to say by week 5 because they brought in Brandon Allen. Remember, Brandon Allen's the guy that was with Ron Rivera in Carolina. He's actually the backup there with Washington.
Yeah, but if Ron Rivera's not there, you're going to have Jack Del Rio as your lead guy.
Well, you imagine if Del Rio, if he gets named the interim coach, the crap that he's going to take on social media on the Matrix. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'll be very upset.
But could you imagine calling the shots that'll bring in Alex Smith? Like, would you have the brass to do that?
Yeah. I would. I can't believe he's even on the roster. So I look at that. Yeah, I know. Mike writes in. He says, I think that he says he thinks we're doing this on the computer because half of our demographic that call in can't properly use or afford a computer. Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about Marcel in Brooklyn, Philexis. Who else are we? Go down the list. Beer drink. Well, Jeannie's dead. Beer drinking Brian. I don't think we have to worry about any of them.
What about Blind Scott?
Oh, Kyle, I said the wrong Allen. Kyle Allen. You know, all those Allens are the same, Gascon.
Yeah.
It's a bad job by me. Yeah. All right. Next game up for us, Chicago at Detroit. Mike Harmon, Chicago Bears at the Lions. It's on Fox. Friend of the Maller Militia, Kenny Albert, calling this game. Now, my guy, Sports with Coleman, he informed me. He's like a middleman between me and Kenny. Yeah. And he informed me that Kenny yesterday left the bubble in Edmonton. And he's out of the bubble. And he's now getting ready to call this game, Chicago and Detroit, with Jonathan Vilma. Did he do games last year for Fox? I don't remember him doing games.
He did ESPN College Game Day stuff. Well, not like on the College Game Day pregame show, but he would do it throughout the day. So he was on Saturdays. So he goes from college ball to the NFL. It's pretty good.
All right, Lions are a 3-point favorite in this game. They opened at 1 Ford Field, Dome Stadium, no crowd, mostly cloudy, 74 degrees. at kickoff outside of the stadium. I'm going to take the Bears in this game as a small road dog. Now, Chicago has been working overtime. There's a lot of propaganda if you've been following the Bears, and I try to keep track of as much as I can from all these teams. But the Bears, Mr. Trubisky, that he's improved in his accuracy, his pocket presence, all these big cliches and platitudes are being thrown out. They're building up the legend of Mitch Trubisky. And I'm again, much like I talked about earlier with Dwayne Haskins, I'm like, okay, let's see it before I get excited about it. I do expect Trubisky to play well here. The one team he has a cheat code for is the Lions, because everybody's got a cheat code against the Lions. But check this out. He is 4-0 in the last 2 seasons against the Motor City Kitties, Mr. Trubisky. And so the Bears have won all those. If they win, they're underdogs, so you win the bet. And he has completed, last season, he completed almost 75% of his passes with 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception in 2019 against the Lions. So he played very well. He's got confidence against this team. Now, that said, I expect the Bears to be pretty conservative, dink and dunk with Tariq Cohen, and also Allen Robinson, and to sling the ball around. And then the second thing, the Lions, you got Matthew Stafford, who is a wild card. Is he 100% healthy? He had back problems. We haven't seen him. Training camp's been all closed off. There was talk that he could have almost retired. He was thinking about retiring in the offseason. I would expect Detroit to run the ball, and the Bears defensively, there is a weak spot. Eddie Goldman, that big, fat, jumbo-sized nose tackle, he quit on the season. He opted out for the 2020 season. So I would think the Lions are just gonna be rotating running backs. They've got Adrian Peterson now. Kerryon Johnson is still there. They got a stable of running backs. So Chicago is the more talented team. You like the more talented team, especially when they're an underdog. There's no home field advantage. The money's pretty even on this game. There's no real big side either way. So I am going to take the Bears. The Bears. Don't sleep on the Bears. Bears 24, Lions 21.
Ben Penny's going with the Detroit Lions in this one. Don't forget, Matthew Stafford last season, when he was playing quarterback, they were a top 5 offense last year. So you can't dismiss that. He's got a lot of time off to recover, and you missed one back, DeAndre Swift, their second-round pick from Georgia. So he could.
No, he's hurt though. I believe he's hurt, Gascon.
Well, you look at he's banged up.
That's what I read. Yeah.
I don't have him banged up. Is that a bad job by me, or is that a bad job by you?
We'll find out.
All right, fair enough.
I heard this, Gascon.
Do you have any faith
in
Matthew Stafford?
Hold on a second. When I was a kid, I heard that if you have 2 left fielders, you don't have one. So if you have 3 running backs, does that mean you don't have 1 running back? Is the same situation apply?
I guess. I mean, you look at the LA Rams last year, right? They had you had Gurley in and out, and then Henderson in and out. So, yeah, I guess so.
And the Rams don't have a running back this year either.
I know. What an absolute mess. I mean, New England's the same way too, right? Sonny Michel and James White.
Well, Sony Michel, yeah. James White's the pass-catching back, and Sony Michel's the guy that does the bulk of the running. He didn't play well last year that well. Let's see here. I'm looking at the peanut gallery, and Pierre says Jim McMahon's not walking through that door. Guy named Mike wants to know how many carries Adrian Peterson gets. That's a good question. Adrian Peterson. We set the over-under on
7.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 too. I'll take the under. I'm going to take the under.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take the under on that. All right. Next up, Indianapolis. The Indianapolis Colts at Jacksonville. It's on CBS. Former Laker play-by-play guy and Nick play-by-play guy. He lost both those jobs. Spiro Ditas has the call, and a guy that I worked with at NBC, Adam Archuleta. They are in the booth. Now, the Colts opened up a 7-point favorite. They're an 8-point favorite. Colts favored by 8 on the road, and this game being played in front of fans. This is the only game on Sunday that will have fans in attendance at TIAA Bank Stadium. No corporate name on that in Jacksonville. Thunderstorms, 84 degrees at kickoff, with a small, spread out, socially distanced crowd in Jacksonville. Now, I'm going to take the Jags in this game. The consensus, first of all, from all the mainstream football people is that they are trying to lose. This is a tank for Trevor Lawrence situation. They have dumped every name brand player who helped get them to the AFC title game a few years ago. So it's the band of no names. They still have my guy, Gardner Minshew, who I like. He's still hanging around. They've got a rookie running back, James Robinson, who takes over in the backfield. I've heard good things about him, but again, you got to see what he does in an actual game. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and try to sell Jacksonville as anything more than a bad team, because that's what they are, right? But I am a believer, and I heard this from a baseball manager years ago when the Dodgers got off to a bad start and they were losing against teams that were supposed to be terrible. He said, Ben, you don't want to play bad teams early in the year because they don't realize they're bad teams. You want to play them late in the year when they're beaten down and they realize they suck and they have no chance. That's when you want to play them. So if Jacksonville's going to have any kind of fight, and you got young guys that are trying to make a name for themselves in the NFL and establish themselves. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt here to Doug Marrone, who's in his final year as coach of Jacksonville. But the other thing about this, Gascon, the main reason that I have my doubts about the Colts is Phillip Rivers. All right, which Phillip Rivers is going to show up? This guy was a turnover machine for the Chargers last season. He had 20 interceptions. He's going to turn 39 this season. And even though there's a bunch of older quarterbacks, the numbers go down. Drew Brees' numbers are not as good as they were a couple of years ago. Tom Brady, his numbers the last couple of years have gone down. So it just feels like this is putting paper over some cracks. You know, you got a crack in the ground. You put some paper over it. That'll cover the crack. That's not how it works. Now, T.Y. Hilton's still around. He's good. He's good. And how about this, though? I looked at the Colts. I was like, what do they do on defense? Did you see who one of their big pickups was on defense?
Yeah,
this is great.
Buckner.
No, not him. No, I don't care. I focus on negativity, Gascon. Xavier Rhodes. Yeah, you know where he ranked on Pro Football Focus's ranking of defensive backs?
I'm going to say probably in the triple digits, yes?
Yeah, he was 110th in the NFL with Minnesota. So, I mean, I never coached in the NFL, Gascon, but if you're Doug Marrone and the offensive coaching staff over there, whoever Xavier Rhodes is lining up against, throw that player the damn ball, right? Throw him the damn ball. I also think this line is inflated. It's over a touchdown. Again, it's a divisional game, over a touchdown. First game, coronavirus. It's a messed up season. We really got to get I have no feel for this. So, I'll take the Colts. They'll win the game, but it's going to be much closer. Colts 23, Jags 18. And the penny picks, Gascon.
The media darling going with the Indianapolis Colts in this one. Man, it's a lot of points, though.
It is a lot of points. That is a lot of points.
Giveaways for Rivers last year on a pretty good LA Chargers team. But the Colts are the media darlings this year. Are you drunk on Indy this year with the division?
I'm not. I just the Phillip Rivers thing. I'm not. Although that division to me is wide open. Houston's not as good. Like Tennessee, we'll get to that later. They play the Monday night game, but I'm not sold on Ryan Fitzpatrick. And if they just become a one-dimensional team and they can't throw the ball, then that becomes an issue there.
I do. So. I like Jonathan Taylor a lot, though. I mean, Marlon Mack was banged up a lot last season. He didn't have much home run capability either. So you at least have him in the backfield. And Michael Pittman Jr., the wide receiver from USC. Those are pretty good playmakers for Phillip Rivers to dump off to.
Yeah, or he can throw it over the head and be intercepted by the safety or whatever. Chris writes in. He says the Jags will lose by 24.
Book it.
He said. Emilio writes in. He says, "Hey, did Blair make bail?"
Oh, Jesus.
Did you hear that story, Gascon? Blair called up this past week and announced that he had gotten into a kerfluffle with his mom over a rotating, oscillating fan, and the police were called.
Oh, wow.
How about that? Yeah. Crazy.
Now, you told me he quit your show, though.
Well, he said, yeah, he's moving to because he's lived with his mom, and Blair's got a few things going on. So, but he's moving into a home so he can learn to live on his own.
Yeah.
And I guess he's not allowed to call in because it's too early in the morning and all that stuff. So, yeah, he says he sang me a song the other day. He sang me a song, yeah.
On radio Crazy. Or private?
Hey, by the way, Gascon, I think we've gone so long here, almost an hour, that this peanut gallery is dying. It's a bad job by the peanut gallery. I'm going to rip every one of those people in the peanut gallery. The commentary is winning. See, you're boring them, Gascon. Your Jim Cramer look is boring them. It's a bad job.
You're talking 95% of the time. So can we press on? Can we move along? We're into Green Bay right now. So
all right, believe it or not, this is the last of the early games, Gascon.
It took you that long to get through, what, 6-7 games?
All right. Don't judge me. Now, Minnesota hosting Green Bay. It's on Fox.
So you better watch.
You better watch my guy. All right, my guy, Chris Myers. I worked with Chris at Fox Sports Radio. He calls the game with Greg Jennings and Brock Heward. So another one of these new put-together broadcasting teams at Fox. The Vikings, they opened a 3-point favorite. Minnesota favored by 2.5. U.S. Bank Stadium in the Twin Cities. People have been asking me, where's my Viking hat? I don't have one. But if you send me one, I will wear it on this podcast. Well, actually, the funny thing, Gascon, is people were asking me to wear a Golden Gophers hat because I wear an Iowa Hawkeyes hat, and they were like, what about Minnesota? Listen, I'll do that. I like that Minnesota hat with the big M on it. Yeah. That's a good-looking hat. You know what? I like that Viking hat with the purple, like the mascot, the gold mascot. That's a pretty good-looking hat, too. Yeah.
It's a clean look.
I love hats.
Would you consider wearing a Minneapolis PD hat?
Oh, yeah. No, I wish I'd wear LAPD. Your dad should hook me up. I'd wear, any of those hats. I don't have them, though. I don't even know how to get them, but I support law enforcement. Absolutely. I'm not one of these lunatics. Yes.
There's a good thing called the internet where you can go online and pull out your credit card and actually purchase one of these things, too.
I know what you're talking about, man.
For hats, but that's fine.
I have a Costanza wallet. You know that? You want to see my Costanza wallet?
Show the masses, all 220 people. What do you got?
All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
See that? I don't know if you can see it.
You got the green screen that's covering, so pull that sucker closer to your face.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
What are you putting that thing?
I don't know. I got
not business cards, not money.
No, I have business cards. I can't put my business cards up because it has my phone number on it. I don't want that, so problematic. But I do have a Costanza wallet.
That's pretty good. How old is that wallet?
How about this? Emilio says he's going to hook us up with a Phoenix Police Department hat. That's good.
That's good.
His brother is a police officer. That's cool, Emilio.
Oh, don't forget, though, Emilio, Ben's got, what are you, size 8 hat?
Yeah, I got a big brain, big hat, right? Yes. No? Are you rolling your eye? I can see you, jackass. You're rolling your eyes at me.
Yeah, that's the idea. I'm not putting a graphic over my eyes when I roll them at you. Anyways, so we got Minnesota, we got Green Bay. So
all right, I'm taking the Vikings in this game. The Packers are another one of these popular public dogs. People are like, I can't believe Green Bay's an underdog. What's up with that? Now, they typically win with Aaron Rodgers. I understand that. Green Bay, in fact, has won 13 of the last 17 matchups. Aaron Rodgers has played fully. They did have a tie in 2018. He turns 37 in December. The Packers overachieved last season. I expect them to be more of the 9-10 win type of team than 13-3. In fact, I gave you a number this week on the radio show that they were just beating up on tomato cans mostly last year. The collective record of the opponents that Green Bay played was not good. So they played a tougher schedule. They played a third-place schedule last year. They played a tougher schedule this year. And I would look at Minnesota, and I would think that the Packers, not great defensively. The running game is something you can exploit Green Bay. At least in theory, you should be able to do that. So I took Dalvin Cook in the NFL Pick'em this week because I think Dalvin Cook should give that Green Bay defense some constipation. Now, the second thing for the Vikings, the band is all together outside of Stephon Diggs, who left. I love this another one of these rookies, Justin Jefferson, who was a stud at LSU. He slides in to the number 2 spot across from Adam Thielen, who's still hanging around. Now, is he up to the task? We are going to find out. If he struggles, that messes up the entire rhythm of the offense for Kirk Cousins. Now, Minnesota also has a bunch of young defensive backs. And we'll see they picked up Yannick Ngakoue from Jacksonville to plug the defensive line. I just like the Vikings. I'm down on Green Bay. I think Minnesota's going to be a good team. I think Minnesota's going to be a team that's going to be winning this division. So I'll take the Vikings 23, the Packers 17. Yes, I am betting on Kirk Cousins over Aaron Rodgers.
Penny is going with the Green Bay Packers. Ben, don't forget, this is like a situation from, was it Matt Kemp and Rihanna, like, was it 5, 6, 7 years ago when he dumped Rihanna and got stolen or robbed of the MVP in the National League? You got Aaron Rodgers, no Danica Patrick anymore. He takes that monkey off his shoulders. He's got Jordan Love that's giving him some motivation. It's going to be a monster year for them. I looked at what they had in 2019, 8-1 in one-score games, too. That could be duplicated.
Chris writes in and says, I respect Ben's commitment to his craft. The People's team, the Clippers, tip off shortly. Hey, I'm aware of that. So we better – are we over an hour now, Gascon?
What time did we start? We started at 2:45. Yeah, you are over an hour. Yes, you are over an hour.
No, this is a Gascon production.
This is a Gascon production, but you're the one that like takes notice to every single chat and tweet and post that's out there. So
I didn't realize, you didn't tell me when I agreed to do this. You didn't tell me there would be a live chat. You didn't tell me that.
Do you feel better that there's a live chat? Because I can turn it off if you'd like.
No, don't turn it off, man. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. All right, next up, the Chargers at, you know what we should do? I should be like the Arizona Cardinals and have like chat breaks where like after every 3 games we go and look at the chat. How about that?
We take a break and go to social media?
Yeah. And that can be sponsored by somebody. Twitter. All right. Yeah. All right. Late games. The LA Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals. It's on CBS. The great Kevin Harlan. We love Kevin Harlan and Trent Green have the call over there on CBS. The Chargers opened a 5-point favorite. LA is favored by 3. Paul Brown Stadium, the site, partly sunny, 82 degrees on the Mexican Doppler that Roberto let me borrow. I'm going to take the Bengals in this game. I am really excited. This is actually a game I would not normally watch, but I'm going to, in my rotation on Sunday, and obviously it's easier because this is the late television window and my Rams don't play till Sunday night, but everyone's going to be focused on Tampa Bay, New Orleans. That's the big game. We're going to get to it in a bit, but I'm really more excited about this game. I want to see Joe Burrow. I want to see what this guy can do. Another one of these studs from LSU. We saw last night on Thursday, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who played very well in his NFL debut. And Burrow, he has a legitimate top 10 receiver to throw the ball to in A.J. Green, who's back. He didn't play last year. He hadn't played since 2018. And they also have Tyler Boyd. So you got 2 legitimate NFL receivers. You have a guy that I think is going to be a pretty good quarterback. Does he have some beginner's luck? I say yes. And the great thing about this also is the Bengals have a running back combination of Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard that should be able to get it done. They've upgraded the team. The defense is also improved. So, and I'm not telling you the Bengals are going to make the playoffs or anything like that, but I am telling you I like him in this particular spot. I sound like Dave Roberts. I liked him in this spot. Just spank me right now. I'm sounding like Dave Roberts. But the Chargers as a road favorite, all the injuries, an injury-ravaged defense, and for the first time since 2005, 15 years, Phillip Rivers will not be the starting quarterback, and now they go with Tyrod Noodle Arm Taylor. It's a temp job, and Taylor, he's put up some average numbers in his career, and typically what has happened is as the game goes on, he gets exposed, and so it generally doesn't go that well. Last season, check this out. As a favorite, the Chargers team formerly from San Diego, went 2-7 straight up against the spread as a betting favorite last season. No, that was last year. That's not this year. Obviously, it's a different team. But upset alert! I am taking the Bengals to win the game outright. What's Arnie say? I don't want the points. I don't need the points. I'm going to take the Bengals here, 26-24 over the Chargers. I'm sorry to Mrs. Garcia there. Karen, the great Chargers super fan, Eddie's wife.
Penny is going with the Cincinnati Bengals as well. Worst record than the National Football League last season in one-score games. They were 0-8. But like you said, they don't need the points. They just need the cover. So let's see if they can get this thing done.
Robert says the Bengals under 5.5 lock of the year. He's going lock of the year. I love those degenerate gambling guys that call right now 1-900 or whatever. Pick of the year. If you don't win, the rest of the year is free.
Have you ever called one of those shows before?
I actually one time I did when I used to do the Blitz on the station. They had, when we were driving in, they had a show, and this guy would get on the radio and say, I'm from, all these guys have these New York accents, Gascon. And he'd be like, you follow me, I'm going to win you a new boat, and he gave out the number. He said, free pick of the year, so I called up, right? I was just curious what his pick was. I then listened to like an 8-minute commercial about all the other products they had.
Yeah.
And then about 2 seconds, it said, and my pick, I'm going to take the Browns, or whatever it was. But that was bad enough. And then I kept getting phone calls from spammers from the number that I called, because they had my phone number, and they kept calling me, hey, you want to bet? You want a free pick? Here's another free pick. And I was like,
So how much money did they ask for the deposit? Because they usually ask for something, right? Like you need to put down a deposit to get.
Oh yeah, no, they were touting games. They were selling picks, is what they were doing. Frank in LA writes in, says Tyrod Taylor isn't a turnover machine like Phillip Rivers has been.
That's true.
That is true, Frank, but he is limited on his ability. We've seen him. Remember that playoff game against Buffalo? It was Buffalo against Jacksonville, and people remember how bad Bortles was in that game, but Tyrod Taylor was just as bad, if not worse in that game.
Yeah.
By the way, the Clippers have the early lead. I'm told now 2-0. Do I need to get that game up here? I can get that game up on my computer, Gascon. I might have to get that game up here. Multitasking. We better pick up the pace.
Why don't you put your cell phone on and have that like?
Oh, that's a good point. I got my cell phone. Hold on a sec here. Hey, by the way, should I show you my wife bought me a pop socket for my phone. You know what a pop socket is? You want to see what it says?
Yeah. I hope it says 405. But push it back. There you go.
Did you see that? It's too far away, right?
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I did. Actually, I think she showed me that. I was like, you son of a... Yeah.
See that?
Yeah. You can't promote yourself on your own cell phone. Like, what kind of...
Hey, I didn't make it. She made it, man. Not my fault. Blame her.
It'd be different if she was rocking that thing, but for you to do that, that's bad promotion.
But we have no promotion. What are you talking? We have no advertising budget.
Yeah.
I want you to. You're complaining you're not talking enough, Gascon. So I want you to talk. I'm trying to put the Clipper game up on my phone here.
Are they winning right now?
I don't know. I don't have the game up. Trying to put the game up right now here.
Well, you got 1,000 people that are in this thing that are wanting to chat. Why don't they post a score at least and see what happens? We can do that. We should do that. We should have a Major League Baseball update and an NBA update, and even if someone watches the National Hockey League, which
they are up 6-0 right now. It is all over. The LA Clippers, the people's team. Man, we might have to do a special chat, Gascon. We should start as a Twitch channel for like when things happen on Friday and Saturday, and I'm not doing the radio show.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be so unbearable if the Clippers win. Oh, I would do. I'm not going to be on tonight to celebrate. That sucks.
I did create a Twitch.
We got the NFL on Sunday, Gascon, so I can't even really do it on Sunday. This is brutal.
I did create a Twitch channel for us, but you're typically one that does not like to work unless you're getting paid. So days like this was really, really hard to get you to come on and to do this, even though
Oh, damn it. Murray just hit a jump shot a few seconds ago. Jamal Murray hit a jumper. Damn
Listen, we cannot give live commentary on an NBA game when we got Benny versus the Penny right now. So can we move forward? I know why you're avoiding this, because we got the Arizona Cardinals up at the plate. So please, can we get into this with Kyler Murray?
I feel like you're disgusted with me, Gascon. I feel like you're disgusted. Yeah.
No, I don't think I've been disgusted yet. Outside of what you did in a bathroom in a park, it's a little bit different.
I was disgusted by that. I was upset by that myself. All right, I'm going to take Arizona and Santa Clara. Remember, they play in Santa Clara, not San Francisco. If this game happens, the air quality is so terrible, they might not be able to play this game because of the conditions. It's on Fox. Kevin Kugler and Chris Spielman have the call. The 49ers opened a 7.5-point favorite. They're favored by 7. Sunny and 69 degrees at kickoff at Levi's Stadium. I am going to take the Cardinals. I am going to take the Cardinals plus the points. Now, DeAndre Hopkins, who battled hamstring injuries here lately for Arizona, he makes his debut, his much ballyhooed debut for the Cardinals. Alligator arms Kyler Murray, still back there. I don't trust him. Arizona Cardinals have several new starters. They've got on defense, they have a new defensive coordinator. The Cardinals defense last season allowed the most yards in the NFL. They were dead last in yards allowed. I expect Arizona to tease, but not please. This is still a flawed roster. They are good enough to be in games, but are they actually going to win enough to be relevant? I say no. Now, the 49ers are a good team. Their defense is absolutely loaded. They have the offensive line, George Kittle, a stable of running backs here. The 1 weak link, I'm trying to find a weakness here for the 49ers. The 1 weak link, they've got several new starters mixed in, in certain spots. So they've made a few changes. The wide receiver core is really where it's at, though. That is the weakest link there. Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Terrell Owens are not walking through that door. They've got guys like Taylor Dent, Dante Pettis, Debo Samuel. We'll see what he can do. So keep in mind, though, that only the Patriots of 2018 have returned to the Super Bowl the year after losing. All right, so it generally doesn't happen. Now, that doesn't mean you can't win this game. The Niners will win, in fact, but they will not cover. Arizona, check this out, in divisional road games over the last couple of years, they are 12-3-2 against the spread. 49ers, 34, Cardinals, 30. And the Penny picks, Gascon.
Penny is going with the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. I mean, you talked about this last year, but they were in a lot of games, or at least from betting perspectives, they were great for backdoor covers. They did. I don't know what their overall record was, but they did pretty well. Yeah, I remember that Lions game. They finished in a tie, and they were way behind. There were several games they were getting killed, and then all of a sudden they would explode. All right, next up for us, Tampa Bay at New Orleans. So this is the big game of the weekend. It's on Fox. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman have the call here. The Saints opened a 4.5-point favorite. They're now 3.5. It's 87 degrees in New Orleans, but the game will be in a dome. No fans there. Now, this is the old geezer matchup. I am taking the New Orleans Saints as a small home favorite here. So I'm betting against 43-year-old Tom Brady and betting on 41-year-old Drew Brees. I'm backing the Saints. Both of these guys have been in decline. Brady more than Drew Brees the last couple of years. I think we all know that. And this game will be nauseating coverage of Drew Brees and Tom Brady. So if you like that kind of hokey stuff, this will be right for you. But I think that the Saints are still much better than Tampa Bay. The Bucks are overvalued here, Gascon. They're overvalued. Don't laugh at me. How dare you? So because the Bucks are overvalued, the Saints are the better side. The one thing that scares me about this blew me away. Since 2013, the Saints have played 14 games with Sean Payton as their coach. What do you think their record is against the spread the first 2 weeks of the NFL season since 2013? I'm gonna say that they have one loss. So since 20.
No, I said it scared me, Gascon. That wouldn't scare me. That would empower me.
You think so? I don't know. I think that would scare you, considering the line. What are they, sub 500 then?
They are 1-13 against the spread.
Ooh.
1-13. Now, again, that's another one of the things. They're due to win. They're due to win a game. But the Tampa Bay is getting all the public money. The Tom Brady Marching and Chowder Society is doing very well. The hype train is moving down the tracks. But I am going to be the contrarian here. I am going to take the Saints in a high-scoring game. Saints 30, Buccaneers 24. And the Penny picks.
Penny is going with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, my.
Michael writes in, I'm looking at the chat here, says, Ben's shit story was the highlight of my summer. Boy, you better have something more going on in your life than that. You better have more going on. Yeah.
So we don't have a lot to laugh and smile about these days. We got a state that's on fire. We got a pandemic. We had sports canceled for like 6-7 months. So I think the bathroom toxic break is something everyone could laugh at.
Yeah. Jonathan writes in and he says, why are you wearing a seatbelt? That's actually my mic cable. You see that? I don't have a wireless microphone. There's a mic cable here, so I can hang myself. Look, I've hung myself just like that. But yeah, I have a mic cable. And who else? What do we have here? What else did I see? Steve says, will you guys be doing Benny versus the Penny like this all season? That really depends on how many people watch this. It seems like we have a decent amount starting to watch, and this will be up all weekend, right? So people can watch it on the rebroadcast. And I'm sure a lot of people actually have jobs and have lives and are doing things on a Friday, and they're not available to watch right now. So, yeah.
Robert wants to know if he can get a golden ticket from you. I don't know if I can give out a golden ticket on something that's not affiliated with Fox.
Well, you can't beg for a golden ticket. It's not right.
You beg for hats. Why can't he beg for
I'm not begging for hats. I'm telling you, Gascon, let me tell you something. These guys ride in and bust my balls, which I know is a cottage industry among the Maller militia. But these guys like, hey, Maller, why are you wearing that hat? Why do you wear this hat? What about the Vikings? What about Minnesota Golden Gophers? What about this? What about that? It's whataboutism, And I'm like, listen, these hats are expensive. I realize that. But I'll wear any. I support the police. I'll wear police hats. This is like free advertising, Gascon, right? I'm a human billboard. I'm like a NASCAR driver with these dumb hats. I got to wear them because I got no hair, so I have to wear the hats.
Why would you want to advertise for an Alliance of American Football League team that's not in existence anymore?
Because this is what west of the 405, Gascon. All right, bougie Gascon. I am supporting with this logo a Maller militia foot soldier who worked for this team.
Oh.
All right. So I am giving an homage to that guy in Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm like, hey, dude, listen, I appreciate you like the show. It was very kind of you to do that. So I got your back.
All right.
Plus, won't this hat go up in value? They didn't make very many of these things, I don't think.
It only goes up in value if it's in mint condition. You get all your lice in that thing, and all of a sudden it's going to devalue it. So.
All right, Pierre says I have enormous mitts. Is that a big hand? Do I have a big hand? Ooh.
I don't know. Why is he looking at your hands in the first place? It's a little disturbing.
Good looking hands. My fingers are great.
I just saw someone in the chat ask you if you had barbecued that tomahawk steak.
Nobody said that. Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, you're making that. You're just making crap up.
Listen, we got the Dallas Cowboys and the LA Rams. Sunday night football.
I will not be at this game. I actually could go because the media is allowed to attend. I'm not going. Al Michaels is going, though, and Chris Collinsworth. Hopefully Al will not be attacked by the cancel culture mob on Twitter. Dallas at the L.A. Rams. As you said, the Cowboys opened up a 2.5-point road favorite. They are favored by 3. They're calling it SoFi Stadium in the hood in Inglewood. And sunny 71 degrees at kickoff. I am going to take the Rams. All right, I'm going to take the Rams. Don't say, it's a homer pick, Maller. The Cowboys have some major issues in the middle of the offensive line. Travis Frederick, the center, he has stepped away. And now they're going with Tom Looney's cousin, Joe Looney, taking over. And they've also got a rookie backing him up. What is the strength of the Rams defense? Aaron bleeping Donald. This guy is a monster masher in the middle of that Ram defense, and I expect Donald to dominate, which will disrupt the Cowboys and some of those big guns that the Cowboys have with Zeke Elliott, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb. And also, so now check this out. So you got Aaron Donald, who conceivably will bottleneck the running game in the middle and will limit Zeke Elliott's impact. But then the Rams just gave out this massive contract to Jalen Ramsey, and he can either lock down Amari Cooper or the rookie CeeDee Lamb, depending on how you want to play it. So that's taking away two of the big playmakers for the Cowboys. That's the luxury the Rams have on defense. Now, I'm not going to tell you the Rams are good. I think the Rams are in that same area as – I really think they're similar to the Cowboys, where they can go 8, 9, 10 wins, somewhere in that area. I don't think they'll be worse than that. Because Jared Goff, as much as he gets ripped, Jared Goff and Dak Prescott is an even quarterback matchup. They are mid-level quarterbacks. They're middling quarterbacks. Dallas has a shaky secondary. I want to see what Cam Akers does. He's a rookie. He's a rookie running back out of Florida State. I don't know how much he's going to play. The Rams drafted this guy, Van Jefferson, whose father was a star NFL player. Was it Stanley Jefferson back in the day, Gascon? His dad, Van Jefferson?
Stanley?
I don't. Yeah, I think it was Stanley Jefferson. I think that's his father. Anyway, I'll see what he can do. The Rams are not a sexy pick, but I will close my eyes on this one. I'll cover my ears, shut my mouth, and I'll take a home dog. Because you can ram it all day and you can ram it all night, Gascon. Don't shake your head at me. Don't shake your head at me. How dare you?
So what do
and
you
the
got?
penny picked. I said I was taking the Rams. Rams 28, Cowboys 27.
All right.
Jeez.
I need the damn score first. Penny's actually going with the LA Rams, too. That's not a homer pick, by the way.
Mike, who's probably a Cowboy apologist, writes it. He says, the Cowboys outplayed the Rams, if not for C.J. Anderson. The Cowboys win the Super Bowl that year.
Wow. Well, Rams got a new offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell, graduated from San Diego State, and was a product of the hoodie, too. He actually coached in D.C. last year with Washington.
Chris writes in, he says, the penny needs a name. How about Seth or Larry? I'm telling you, if we do this again next week, Gascon, if we do Benny versus the penny on YouTube, we have to find a way to have a penny cam. We'll have to figure that out.
Get a live look. We're going to have like a sky cam with a penny like rotating in motion for you for games.
Gio writes in, he says, watching this on a Friday night Eastern time is the epitome of no life. Yes, that is a thumbs up situation, Gio. Now, what is worse, though? Here's the question.
We could crack this open if we'd like to for the Malley Militia. We can.
Hold on, you're being covered up. You're being covered up. Hold on, move it over in front of you. No, further the other way, in front of your shirt. There you go. What is that?
That's McAllen, man. You got.
McAllen.
The
hey, by the way, you know what I have here? Check this out. We're doing props.
This is not a prop. You can actually drink it. What the
See
hell?
that?
Oh, you got some barbecue sauce. Oh, you got the stadium sauce.
Yeah, that's the stadium sauce. Yeah, the stadium sauce is here.
All right.
What else? What else do I have around here?
You're not gonna.
I'm looking around. I'm looking around what I have here. Hold on a second.
You're not going to dip that in your chicken sandwiches, are you?
No. Well, I have to take a couple weeks off the chicken sandwiches because I've been making those too much. Although I don't think we can go anywhere because I can't breathe when I go outside.
Yeah, that's
because of the smoke. The smoke here in LA is brutal, man. Is that ever going to end, or this going to let fires burn for the rest of the year because it's 2020?
Well, I don't know. They'll probably tax us for something and then blame it on us, and then all of a sudden, like the fires will be gone. Well, how about this? We'll find out November 4th.
There you go. Mike writes in, says, I have been a Cowboy apologist since 1985. Well, at least you know it. At least you're aware of it, right?
Robert's got a penny sky judge. That's pretty good.
That's funny. See, these, as much as you rip these guys and say they have no lives and all that.
I don't rip them.
No, you rip them all the time to me, Gascon. You don't say you don't.
No.
I mean, these guys here, let me tell you, they're pretty creative. We got some creative people here.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Philip says I should put the stadium sauce on the tomahawk steak. Would you be upset, Gascon?
No.
How about if I just drowned that tomahawk steak in the stadium sauce?
We're not allowed to cuss on this, but I would definitely be profanity laced next week if you did that thing. Any good steak deserves no sauce at all. So, I mean, I don't care if it's pepper or salt, but man, you can't use it.
But by the way, Gascon, this chat, I think your dad just logged in here. It says Gascon needs his own daily show. Is your old man? Is he tuned in here? Is the chief tuned in? Is he doing his thing? No,
he's active on Facebook, so I don't know, maybe, but we could definitely.
Chris
do that.
Chris points out that we are all losers, but we love it. All right, that's good. At least
we're all losers, but we're losers together, right?
All right, believe it or not, we have 2 games left. 2 games left. Then I can get to watching my Clippers and celebrating and eating and drinking and being merry. So Monday Night Football, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants. You know, I did a cameo for a big Maller militia guy. I get an update on the Clipper game. Hold on a sec here, guys. Oh, Clippers have a lead. All right, that's good. They're still ahead.
If I'm wrong, but we're having a new Monday Night Football Open this year, right?
Yes, because I guess we can't be hanging out with our friends tonight or whatever the lyrics in that song, because that's, because people are so stupid they can't figure out what to do, right? They can't. It's like
that was like with the KFC, right? We can't use.
I know. I was just gonna say that. It's like, hey, I'm grown up. I know that it's a slogan to sell fried chicken. Okay, I think I'm smart enough as a grown ass man to figure that out. But Clippers have gone up by 9. Clippers are up by 9. They are about first time in like 49 years. They're going to go first time ever conference finals. Gascon, we might have. I'm telling you, we start that Twitch channel tonight after the game. No,
hold on. Why would you care if they get to the Western Conference Finals? You want them to win the whole
That's
damn thing
the
anyway.
Final Four. When Duke gets to the Final Four, they celebrate. They put a banner up at Cameron Indoor Stadium when they get to the Final Four.
This is not like the Colts where they hang division banners and they're happy about it. You got to get to the finals and win the whole thing.
Final Four in the NBA. Kawhi is doing it. All right, stop. We get back to football.
All right, Giants and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Steelers a 6-point favorite. MetLife Stadium in the swamplands of New Jersey.
Will the governor be there?
I'm going to say no. Say no. Now, they're not going to have fans here, right? Because New Jersey's like New York, and they can't, God forbid, fans can't go in an 80,000-seat stadium. You can't have 10,000 people. Anyway, I'm going to take the Giants in this game. Now, I'm a big fan of Joe Judge. This guy has given us content on the radio show because the NFL mainstream media loses their nuts every time Joe Judge does something in practice. So I love it. We'll see if it works out. There's a lot of unknowns here. He's bringing in this old world, old school, hard-ass mentality of toughness and grit for the Giants. We'll see if that carries over to the actual games from the practice field. The most important thing, though, is Daniel Jones. And will he have the second-year jump? I'm not that confident in Daniel Jones. Jason Garrett is the new offensive coordinator, the old Cowboy coach with that vertical passing offense that he likes. The Steelers, check this out. This is an even matchup. The Steelers have missed the postseason the past 2 years. Pittsburgh has not been in the playoffs with Mike Tomlin. The Giants, they made the playoffs once in 2016, and in the last 8 seasons, they won 12 games over the last 3 years. So they've been miserable. And if you remember the year they made the playoffs, that was when Odell Beckham went down to Miami and was dropping deuces on the boat there in Miami, doing his thing, having a good time. Now Ben Roethlisberger, he returns. This is the headline of the Monday night game. Roethlisberger comes back. The old war horse comes back. Ben Roethlisberger returning to Pittsburgh, and how effective he will be is open to debate after last season with all the injuries and all this stuff. Now there are a few playmakers that the Steelers provide. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are not walking through that door, though. So to me, this is all about the Steelers' defense. I think it's kind of obvious there. You don't need some dope like me to tell you. The Steelers defensively, if they're not a top 5 defense, then someone should lose their job with all the big stars they have on that side of the ball. But will they be able to contain Saquon Barkley? All right, to me, I'm betting on Saquon Barkley more than anything. I say the Giants hang around. It's Monday night, early game. Low information bettors are loading up on the Steelers. Keep in mind, though, as road favorites in the Mike Tomlin era, The Steelers have a .368 winning percentage. They have been horrible as road favorites. They're favored by almost a touchdown. That's way too many points. I expect this to be a low-scoring game. Steelers 20 and the Giants 16. And the Penny picks.
Ben, Penny's got the home team as well. Go with the New York Football Giants. By the way, what the hell happened to Juju last year and James Conner? Because they were absolutely brutal in 2019. I know Mason Rudolph was at quarterback, no Big Ben, but that big of a drop-off? Michael Thomas didn't have that when Drew Brees was hurt.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Juju, was he covered up by Antonio Brown, right? Now Brown left, he sucked. Or was it just that they didn't have a competent quarterback? We got to end this soon, Gascon. The Nuggets are coming back here. We got to move on. All right, last game. Here we go. Tennessee at Denver. It's on ESPN. Now, Steve Levy, Brian Griese, and Louis Riddick.
That's the maiden voyage of the new Monday Night Football team, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So, no, I like Steve Levy. He's an old. I always like these guys that pay their dues, and Steve Levy paid his dues.
Yeah, reminds me of me.
What?
Reminds me of me, like paying my dues and yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you think?
You live west of the 405. Look at that. Look at that beautiful wall you have behind you, the fake picture you have behind you. I'm sitting here in a rustic office. I'm in the city. Look at that. I'm out there busting my ass. I've left the Mallard Mansion. I'm here in this fake studio.
Yeah, but see, the luxury that I get with the Mallard Militia is I could pan over one way, so I could show them some kinds of material if I'd like to, like that. Does your camera do that?
Does my camera pan? No, I don't have a camera that pans.
You're not skilled like that? You don't have that kind
I don't need a camera.
You don't have that kind of hardware, Ben Mallard.
I don't need it. I'm a radio guy. Look at me. I'm ugly. Look at this. This is not for television consumption.
You have over $1,000 worth of equipment in there, probably closer to $5,000, by the way.
Well, I actually bought it for pennies on the dollar. So, all right, Clippers have the lead at the end of the first quarter, so I'm okay.
Okay.
All right, last game, Tennessee at Denver. It's on ESPN, as we said, with Levy and all those guys. Titans a 2.5-point favorite, open to 1.5-point favorite in this game. Clear and 68 degrees at Empower Field at Mile High. Now, for those of you that know, Gascon is a Laker historian and a Bronco fanboy, right? You like your Denver Broncos, and that's why you're wearing the Bronco tie there. If you didn't figure that out,
it's football season. I gotta wear at least one NFL tie.
I'm wearing a football hat here.
Right.
I tried to get an NFL hat that just had the NFL logo, but they don't make them in my size anymore. I couldn't get it.
Do you have any Arena League football hats?
I don't know. I got my hats over here. I do not think I have any arena football. I wish I did. That'd be a good nostalgic type of thing. You know what would be good? The USFL, like an old USFL hat.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Cool. The LA Express actually had a really good logo. Do you remember the LA Express logo?
Yeah.
The LA with the gray and it was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to surprise you, Gascon. To suck up to you, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. I was. Now, the Titans, they are a very popular team because they got to the AFC title game last year. They've got that menacing defense. They're expected to, again, have the top running game in the NFL with Derrick Henry. The questions I have about Tennessee are all about Ryan Tannehill. And I admit a lot of this is more about me than it is about him. I have this neurosis from his years in Miami where Tannehill would tease you, right? And then he'd have a good game, and then he'd have like 2 or 3 bad games. And we called it the Tannehill two-step. Or it was a Tannehill 3-step, actually. It was 1 step forward, 2 steps back. The Tannehill 2-step, or the 4-step. You can do either version of that. I just think of him as an imposter last year because that was not the Ryan Tannehill that's been in the NFL the balance of his career. He played really well, and then in the playoffs, though, he became a decoy. You remember in the playoffs, he was a decoy, and they didn't really throw the ball all that much. Can Ryan Tannehill bottle up what he did last regular season coming in from Mariota and do it again? I'm going to say no. I think the smart money says no. Now, maybe the Titans still win a bunch of games without him doing well. He led the NFL. Here's the main reason. I gave this stat on the radio show a couple of weeks back. I think this is the most important stat. The NFL, in the entire NFL, Ryan Tannehill led the league, Gascon, in completion percentage above expectation. What that means is he overachieved, right? And typically what happens when you overachieve, there is a regression to the mean. That's what happens, right? Extreme outcomes are followed by more moderate outcomes. That's just like in investing, and that's just, anything in life. That's generally how it goes. So you look at that and you're like, he's going to play well. And if he starts throwing interceptions and fumbles the ball, so that obviously changes the arithmetic on this. Now, the Titans did make some changes on their offensive line, so that's a factor. They've added Jadeveon Clowney and Vic Beasley on defense. That's a couple of big-name guys on defense. But I'm taking your Broncos and Uncle Vic, because I don't believe Uncle Vic's going to allow your Broncos to have a pity party because Von Miller got hurt. So that's a big risk. Right, Von Miller, great player. He's out for the year, and there's two ways to approach this. There's the Belichickian way, the train keeps them moving, or there's the other way, which is holy crap, we are up Poop Creek without a paddle, which is where Odell Beckham would like to be, but the rest of us do not want to be. So that's the other part of it. I'm believing in that. Now, here's the great stat. You know this, Gascon, as a Bronco apologist, okay, as a lemming for the Broncos. How many quarterbacks have the Broncos had since Peyton Manning? Since Peyton Manning, how many have they had?
I off the top of my head, I'd say 8.
Close.
7.
This is the 10th quarterback.
Oh, Drew Lock, baby.
How many of these names do you remember since Peyton Manning exited stage left? Brock Osweiler, remember him, right?
Yeah. Monster deal in Houston.
Yeah. Zach Dysert. Remember Zach Dysert?
Yeah,
who else?
Arizona State.
Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
7th round pick, right? He's a backup somewhere. Paxton Lynch.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the face of the Broncos, remember?
Yeah, the quarterback out of Memphis. Yeah. It was like the heir apparent to Manning, and he was like, Matt Ryan 2.0 because of his length.
What else do we have here? The other names. We have Paxton Lynch, Chad Kelly.
Yeah.
Remember Chad Kelly's claim to fame?
Ole Miss,
No, he went to the wrong house at Von Miller's Halloween party. Yeah, remember, he showed up drunk.
Naked, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't remember all the details. Mark Sanchez, former Denver Bronco quarterback. Case Keenum, who could forget the Case Keenum era? Joe Flacco.
Yeah, last season.
Brandon Allen, right? The old Ram quarterback. So is the 10th time the charm? Now, I am not as bullish as Drew Lock. You're the Bronco guy, though. Yeah. Are you excited about Lock? Because he was inconsistent last year in the limited time that he played, and he didn't. Yeah.
I was going to say 4-1 as a starter, and he got the football to Cortland Sutton, which is the biggest thing. Like, Flacco wasn't throwing the football down the field. You got Drew Lock. At least he does that. So you can go underneath to Sutton if you want to. And then don't forget, they picked up Jerry Jeudy in the first round of the NFL draft here in 2020. So, I mean, you got firepower on the outside. They lose Emmanuel Sanders, who they traded away last year to San Francisco. And I think the biggest loss for them defensively outside of Von Miller is Chris Harris Jr. He goes to the LA Chargers. So that's a big shot to them, especially in the secondary. But
it's pretty simple. You just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And limit the penalties, and they'll have a shot in this game. And we've seen a little bit of a trend in the last few years. The NFL's added this late Monday night game. And they usually play these on the West Coast. This is the Mountain Time Zone, so it's going to be an hour later than normal.
Yeah.
But usually the home team wins and covers. That's normally how that's happened. So I'm going to take the Broncos here. I think they win the game outright. And people are saying, "Oh my God, are the Titans a fraud?" Broncos 26, Titans 23. Your final.
Homer alert. Penny is also going with the Denver Broncos. Ben, don't forget this. Red zone efficiency last year for Tennessee, I saw this. They were first in offense, but 31st in defense in red zone stops. So the TD rate was really high. They had the second easiest schedule in the National Football League this year.
Is that right? Is that right? By the way, this person writes in, David, this is your mother. Tell the nice people what year the penny is.
That will not be disclosed here, at least in week number 1. Tune back for week number 2, we might tell you.
Mike says, I'm betting my house on Ben's 15-game parlay. No, do not do that. No, don't. How dare you?
But didn't you have a guy 2 years, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago that hit it big in Vegas, right?
Oh, well, actually, the guy that won the NFL, they have that contest at one of the hotels to pick the highest winning percentage picking NFL games against the spread.
Yeah.
What's the name? I forget the name of the hotel that sponsors it. But one of our listeners won the contest, Gascon, a Malo militia guy. We had him on the show. He lives in Orange County in Southern California. He's been listening to me for years on the radio, and he won. It's awesome.
Yeah.
How cool is that? So we are training professional. The guy's now a professional gambler. He's a professional tout, I believe. He's like
That's good. He goes from listening to you versus a coin to now attacking the Vegas sharks that are out there building these monstrosities that are charging $35 to park there overnight.
Chris writes in. He says they better not edit out our comments. That's the best part of this thing. Are you going to be a douchebag, Gascon, and edit out the comments here?
No, I think the comments actually go live to YouTube. So whenever the footage actually archives, it'll still show up on the stream. I don't know. I don't know if it has any kind of limit on language, but
so as we put the baby to bed here. These are billable hours, right? I can send the invoice into you, and then you'll send me the money. Is that how this works? Yeah.
That's right. Billable hours, and since you are the boss, you are the bank. I can. What do I send in a Venmo to you, Ben Maller at Ben Maller? Is that how it's all broken down? Is that what I do? I'm working hard. I got the sleeves rolled up, tie is undone, top collar button is undone as well, and I had to do the hair a little bit. I did this show in the middle of a fire, Ben. That's dedication.
Oh, sir. The fires are not west of the 405, you donkey. They're where I live, okay? Let me tell you, I haven't gone out of my house in several days because last time I went out of my house, my voice was all messed up. And last night, or actually it was this morning, by the end of the overnight show, I felt it in my throat, and I haven't gone outside. I'm gonna go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy one of those air blower things because I got to blow all the ash. But I'm gonna wait till the fires are put out because it's still raining. I'm looking out the window. It's still raining ash. You can't see it behind me. I don't know why this is fake. I can't see the ash raining down back here. What's up with that?
Well, you should get an air purifier. At least that'll be good for your house.
I have one, but the filter's not right. The filter's not correct. So I mess with the microphone here.
Fair enough. Well, I think the most disturbing thing is even with all these fires is that debris is coming west of the 405. So if you could kindly tell your wife to tell the civil servants out there to kind of nix the fires and make sure our air is cleaner.
Yeah. Chris says you should do the podcast, the fifth hour like this. I don't know about that, Gascon. We'd have to get corporate approval for that. I think we'd have to get approval for that. But if you email the bosses and say you want it on the YouTube, maybe they'll do that. And if we do this again next week, Gascon, it's really up to how many people view this. We have the data because this is going to be on all the different platforms. It's not just on YouTube, so it'll be available everywhere. So we'll see what the actual numbers are. And but we're not doing it. We'll do it a little later next week. Is that the plan?
Yeah, next week will be a little bit later. But don't forget.
Hold a sec. Now, if the Clippers are playing, I'm not playing. All right, okay. It's gonna have to be around the Clipper schedule because I got to watch the Clipper game. I am sacrificing, Gascon. I'm sacrificing a Clipper playoff game. Not that I really care that much about the first half of any playoff game, but I am still sacrificing. I gotta refresh my phone here. Hold on a sec.
Why don't you DVR the game so that way at least you're not spoiled?
All right, the Clippers are up somewhat comfortably. Well, they're starting to play well here. Lou missed a jumper. That's a bad job by Lou. Damn it.
Listen, so a couple different things because we get a lot of people that are teachers or execs or mid-level managers. No.
I get teachers, truck drivers, and all that.
So if anyone likes the show that uses video production for whatever it may be, for Zoom, for Skype, for any of their influencer programs. Like we're using this program, it's called Ecamm Live, and we put a link at the bottom of the description. You can click on that for us. They've actually powered our show, but if you click on that, you can read information about it and use that for your own kind of production needs. But yeah, we'll have stuff every week if you'd like to. I mean, it's fine. I just
yeah. And let me tell you, what's the name of the company? Ecamm? Is that the name of the company there?
Ecamm Live.
Let me tell you, these people at Ecamm, they should win.
Boston based.
Oh, good. the people at Ecamm should win an award because you are the king of technical difficulties, Gascon, and we really haven't had any noticeable difficulties other than the first 5 minutes, which were a hot mess when we were not actually up. But once you click the right button, this has been smooth.
Yeah.
This has been smooth. Now,
Yeah.
Robert says, can we live stream the Mather Ugly Sweater Party?
Oh,
That's not happening.
That's a good
I don't think
idea.
the party's happening this year. So anyway, well, that's it. Yes, guys, good job. And again, we'd love to have some sponsors. This is a standalone deal. We're not under the umbrella of any corporation or anything like that. So it's a mom and pop shop and all that. And I'm now going to go watch the Clipper game, Gascon. Am I free to leave? Can I turn this off? Yes.
You are free to roam. We'll
All right,
you guys.
by the way, the chat, you guys were awesome. I did not expect that. That is awesome. I love that. That was really cool. So all you guys, Chris and Pierre and all you guys in the chat, everyone else, Frank in L.A.
Whoa. Why are you thanking them? I'm the one that enabled them. So you should be thanking me.
You are such a douche. You are such a
thanking me for this.
You dressed up like you're dressing up as Jim Cramer for Halloween, and I'm supposed to thank you?
I'm just I'm acting the part, dressed for the job that you want, right? Not the one that you have.
All right, I gotta go, Gascon. All right, thank you. I'll be on the try the podcast. By the way, the Fifth Hour podcast. Tony Bruno's on there today. We love that. And tomorrow we got the Spicy Nugs guy.
Nugs, yeah.
That guy's awesome, man. That's the guy that had the viral video from Lincoln, Nebraska. We had him on. He's a good dude. You got to hear what he said. He's pretty funny. He's gonna take his act on the road, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's good. And don't forget, for Ben and myself, you can follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter accounts are below, and also Instagram. I know Ben's
and cameo.com. Hey.
See you guys next week.
See you guys. Take care.